when I talked to my cousin the other day, I said to him, this place is not, make sure that you keep a record of our calls because this could be my last phone call because this is a very dangerous place. And he didn't really understand that, and his reply was, yeah, I'm glad those people are in there and not out here with me. Those people belong in there. And that was just his perspective. And that's what he really thinks. When the truth is that 75% of these people don't belong in jail. They've done things, but they don't belong in this kind of horrific, barbaric system. And then the real danger comes if I piss off these guards. They can put me in the hole, ruin my mental psyche. That you have to really behave with these guards. You can't have a bad day. You can't wake up and shrug your shoulder or roll your eyes. You can't not follow a direct order from the correctional officer, because if you do disobey, you, my friend, will have a rougher ride than you're already having. And so for the average American who believes that I belong in a dungeon, you just haven't been through it. I don't belong here. I've never hurt anybody. I've never threatened anybody. I've never beat up anybody. I haven't stolen someone's property. I haven't embezzled anybody's money. I've done nothing to belong in this absolute hellhole. So I'll start. I'll give you a little. So today is April 11th, 2024. My name is Chille DeCastro. I am locked up in the Clark County Detention Center for filming a cop. It's on video. I'm innocent of any kind of obstruction, and I shouldn't be here. But I only have 89 days before the appeal. So you guys can put that down on your calendar. And Brian, let me know if those are the exact amount of days, I believe. But I believe it's 89 days until July 10th. And on July 10th, my appeal will be heard. And I'm trying to go with a mantra that whatever doesn't kill you only makes you stronger. And I am not going to be beat down. I am not going to allow my mental fortitude to be destroyed. I am going to push forward and persevere. I'm continuing to write out my memoirs and to write my book, and I'm continuing to journal everything that I see, hear, and experience, so that people on the outside of these walls can understand exactly what I'm going through and what this system teaches you. And it's not good. It's just not good. So for the people who support me and my friends who love me and my family, I'm okay, and I'm not going to give up. Write it on your calendar, 89 days to go. 89 days to go. And just let the days count down. Every day you look at that calendar, 88 days to go, 87 days to go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow all the rules here. I'm nothing but, I'm respectful to the guard like I am in the Navy. Sir, yes, sir. That's the way I speak with these guards. I introduce myself. I explain to them what supposed or alleged crime I have committed of filming a cop. And I tell them that I'm no threat to them. I will not hurt them. I'm not going to attack them. And some of them respond nicely, and one of them responded to me, I don't give a why you're in here. I don't care. All I know is that, this is a dangerous place for me, and it's like, he really said this is a dangerous place for him. It's surreal. It's absolutely surreal. And, Brian, I'm sorry that you have to, and I told Brian, you guys, I told Brian, I said, hey, look, you don't got to take my phone calls. You don't got to do this daily report. I will gladly let you off the hook on this, and I'll call my editor, and I'll give him a daily report. Brian said, no, it's all right. But I know this is taxing for him. I know this is taxing for all of you listening to this, that I am locked away in a mother-fucking dungeon, and there's nothing that can be done about it. Yesterday, one of my buddies joked. He said, run outside, climb the chain link fence, get out of there. And I said, oh, no. There's not a chain link fence outside. You can just jump over. There's 150,000 guards between me and the there's double locking magnetic doors, and then another set of locking doors, and another set of locking doors. And then when they take you out of here to go to any court, they chain you. They chain me. They chain me with a chain around my waist, and they torture cuff my wrists, and then when I go in to see the judge, they put leg shackles on my ankles, as though a misdemeanor offense equals that you are Charlie Manson, you are Hannibal Lecter. And that is truly, it is, when you go to the court, there's hundreds and hundreds of men, and all of us are in chains. It is the most surreal thing I've ever seen, going into the holding cell waiting to go to court, with at least 50, 80 men in that holding cell in a room that should hold 25 people, and we are all in chains, every single one of us, and a good portion of us have ankle chains on. And, you know, you remember that judge? Remember that guy who jumped over the bench in Nevada?
Yeah.
The guy who jumped over the bench and attacked the judge, right? Well, they gave him, 27 felonies? They're going to lock him up for the rest of his life for attacking a judge. And listen, I don't endorse attacking anybody. You guys know that. I'm all about peace through unity and using our rights. But 27 felonies, his life, he's going to spend the rest of his life in prison for attacking somebody? I'm not saying it's right. I don't agree with it. Don't attack anybody. I don't agree with judges being attacked. I don't agree with anybody being attacked. I don't attack anybody. You've never seen me attack anybody. I've never asked you guys to attack people. Do not attack people. But he's going to be thrown in the dungeon for the rest of his life. And the collateral damage of him doing that is now each and every person in the Clark County Detention Center is him. It's him. Each one of us is going to run and leap and jump over the bench, which, by the way, if we're just going on pure athletic prowess, that was one hell of a jump. I'm just saying. I couldn't jump like that. I'm 49 years old. I would get about 12 inches off the ground and thud right in front of the bench, you know? But it's just so absolutely morbid to believe that like that crazy person. We're not. We absolutely are not. It's the same thing with looking up your backside. When I was put in the hole for live streaming a phone call, they have a policy, procedure, and protocol they follow here. And when I was put into the hole, they march you down there, and you have to strip. And I've said it already. I'll say it again. I'll tell you what that exact little bit was, so I'm not giving away anything of the jail. They tell me, you're going to go in this room, you're going to turn around, you're going to face the wall, and you're going to strip. You're going to take off all your clothes, then you're going to bend over at the waist, not the knees, you're going to spread your butt cheeks, and you're going to cough and turn in any direction. I'm going to consider that an act of aggression, and I will hurt you. Do you understand? So they did that to me, and then I laid there in that solitary with no pen or pencil, no book. You just sit there. It's a form of punishment, right? And I sat there and thought to myself, what's the percentage of people that bend over and there's something up their butt? I'm going to bet of the dozens and dozens and dozens or hundreds of people they bring down to the hole every day that it's not even one. I'll bet you they go days, weeks without ever seeing anybody with anything up their butt. I'll bet you they could go months without seeing anybody with something up their butt. And then one guy, one time, puts a balloon of drugs up his butt, and now we all need to have our butts looked up. The laugh is not enjoyment. The laugh is disgusting irony and disgust. It's just so nasty. You really need to look up my ass because I live streamed a phone call with a journalist? You need to look up my ass? Or is that a way to break you down spiritually, emotionally, so that you become a bag of shit? Like you guys saw me in that courtroom that day. I had been in that hole for 5 days. The first time I saw people who weren't in chains, I just started crying because I knew I was going right back to that frickin' hole.
And then the question has to be asked: who signs up for that particular position right here? Who accepts as a career choice voluntarily looking up people's butts for no reason?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question, Brian, because the time to sit down and talk to the correction officers for as many seconds as they're talking to me, because it's a minute that I get to talk to them, and I've asked, and I said, how did you get into this? And is it because of it? And they all, the ones who have spoken to me have all said it's the pay and it's the benefits. And by the way, the female guard who I spoke to the other day, initial M, I'm not going to give anybody's names away, initial M, she said to me, the pay is good. And by the way, she said you can look it up. You can look up online how much each guard makes at the Clark County Detention Center. And I said, so how much is She said, well, there's one guy who makes $100,000 a year, and he was in the newspaper the other day. And then she said that the benefits are great. The health, the dental, the eye, the medical, all of it is just great. The benefits are out of this world. So the state will give you, $10,000 a month and the best benefits in the world if you're only willing to follow orders, put people in cuffs, and look up their butt. And it's funny because the guys who work in here, as I've spoken to them, they don't seem like horrible people. They don't seem like bad people. Remember, they all put through psychological evaluations after World War II, all ended up testing normal. They were normal people. So what I was talking on was when they tested the Nazi soldiers, even the SS soldiers, when they tested them after they were captured in World War II on psychological evaluations, they found that these people were normal people. And some of them were taking speed from Hitler. Hitler was the big speed freak who handed out speed pills to lots of his troops. But so I can tell you this, that when I was brought down to the hole and I was put through that horrible process of being torture cuffed, they arrest you. When they bring you out of your dorm, if you do something wrong, you're under arrest. You get put in torture cuffs. They drag you down there. I told you about a panic attack I had. It was horrifically bad. I couldn't breathe. And then there was a guard down there when they had these 4 burly dudes around me bend over and cough. Mr. W. I have a near photographic memory if I want to remember things, and I look at every name tag now and I memorize it. So Mr. W was one of the guys who had me bent over on the wall, and then about 3 or 4 days later, when a new bunkie was brought into my isolation cube, Mr. W was there, and they said, "Come out of there." And I thought, "Oh man, I'm gonna die." You never know what's gonna happen to you. You're locked down 23 hours, and I went and I had to stand outside, and I had to put my face to the wall, and then I said, "Am I in trouble? Am I gonna get hurt? Is something gonna happen to me right now?" And Mr. W was one of the guys who had initially put me in there. He was standing over my shoulder. He said, "Chille, no one's gonna hurt you." Knew my name, and I glanced over my shoulder, and I said, "Oh, Mr. W, how are you today, sir?" And he said, "You're just getting a new bunkie, man. Don't worry about it." And Mr. W, when you look at him on the outside, he's this gregarious, attractive, healthy young man in the prime of his life, younger than me by 10 or 15 years. And he is following the orders he was given to do to a T. They're following the policies, procedures, and protocols of this particular dungeon. And I don't think Mr. W actually sees what he does as a bad thing. And for guys like, for critical thinkers and people who are humanitarians, you guys can draw your own conclusions. I have to make sure that I keep everything very tongue-in-cheek. It's not something that I could do to another person. I could not do that to another person and then come back the next day and do it again. But it has to be changed. You are my prisoner. Turn around and put your hands behind your back. That was for slavery. That we have to change that. We can put an Apple AirTag on people that is industrial, that they can't get off their wrist, and we can use a camera system and say, if you want to run, go ahead, dude. But the fallout for you running is when you go to the real dungeon. But if you just follow the protocols and procedures today that we have in place for the digital era, you go to a place with a couch. You don't get in the back of a cage, you get in the back of a car. And we'll treat you with dignity and humanity, and you can go through the process and you can actually give restitution for the victim of your crime. In here, the people who are criminals, they call it boosting. They say, oh, they're just boosting. And they justify their theft by that Target has a loss prevention budget of whatever many tens of millions of dollars. And the moral compass is broken. And I feel like this isn't fixing anybody's moral compass. This is making people worse. This makes people resent the system and resent the people who hold them here and resent the people who arrest them. And that brings me to the judges. I can't help. Let me just put it to you in the form of a question so I can continue to show deference to the court. Do you vote for judges? Who's the last judge you voted for? When did you vote for them? Why'd you vote for that judge? Or do the judges have blocks of people who they put together to vote for them to be judge, and then they get elected to be judge? And then the question I have for you are, do these elected judges, you couldn't list 2 judges in your county that you voted for and why you voted for them, but they get themselves elected, and then do the judges then collude together? I can just send a text message to Brian and go, hey, Brian, did you write an article about this guy in Oklahoma? And then he could text me back, I wrote an article, what's your slant on that? Oh, I think the guy's a real piece of shit, Brian. And then Brian writes me back, yeah, Chille, I think that guy in Oklahoma is a real piece of shit. Okay, Brian, thanks for the text. I'm going to write my article. Yeah, I'm going to write my article too. And now 2 journalists who have literally millions and millions of people who listen to us. Now Brian and I have colluded together to say that the guy in Oklahoma is a real piece of shit. So now millions of people have the slant or the perspective that that guy in Oklahoma is a piece of shit. So, does that happen with judges? Do they go to each other's barbecues? When there's a bar mitzvah, do they invite the DAs? When all the judges have a judge's cocktail party, don't all the DAs and all the top cops want to go to that? Is that a reality? Do you think that's a reality? You mean text messaging? The judges don't text message each other, right? And talk about someone who's going through the injustice industry? They would never do that. That would be unethical. And oh, by the way, who gets those text messages? Do we ever get to see those texts? Can you subpoena or FOIA those text messages and say, hey, I think these 2 judges communicated with each other on text messages and I'd like to read their text messages? Can you get those text messages? Do you think that happens? It's a question. I'm a journalist. I ask questions. How? Why? How come? Those are my 3 favorite questions. So do you think that happens? And do you think that happens to anybody that you know? Do you think that could happen to anybody that you know? Is it a possibility? One judge can text another and say, this guy, this, and this is what happened. What do you think of that? Oh, really? And I'm going to hear that case? Oh, okay. Thanks for telling me that. Yeah. I'll get back to you. You have a nice day now. You don't think that the cops who drop in requests for warrants to judges go to the judges' barbecue parties? You don't think that the cops... How many no-knock raid warrants are denied? How many warrants for searches are denied by the judges to the cops and the DAs? Or is that one big rotten system all the way to the core? These are just questions. I'm a journalist asking questions. That's all I'm doing here. That's for you to decide. Do you think that happens? 89 days, y'all. 89 days. Write it down on your calendar. Brian can give me the exact days. It could be 90 tomorrow. I don't know. It could be 88. But July 10th, my appeal is going to be heard. And according to Chris Oram, this appeal should be a slam dunk, because I said you're going to have pictures of where I was standing in one frame and pictures where I was standing in another frame, right? Yes. You're going to go over Wilson versus First Judicial Court of Nevada, right? Yes. You're going to go over due notice, that he had to give me due notice to back up 21 feet that he never said, right? Yes. Now I'm going to be meticulous about what you are presenting to the court. And then the question is, I did have a bad day in court. Is the court going to continue to be biased against me? Are they? Because so far, I've been on the record about this, and I don't think I'm being disrespectful to say that I think Ann Zimmerman didn't do me fairly, putting me in jail for a first-time criminal offense. It's the first criminal offense obstructing I've ever had in my life. I haven't performed anything criminal in my life. Is it justified to put me in jail for 6 months? I don't think it's justified. I don't think it's warranted. I don't think it's justice. I think Ann Zimmerman was upset with me because I had a bad day in court. I think that she wanted to punish me for my bad day in court. That's what I think. And I'll continue to say that. I don't think I'm being disrespectful. I think I'm just being honest. So this is my daily report from the Clark County Detention Center in Las Vegas, Nevada. Stick with me, Team DLZ. Stick with me. Don't give up. We don't stop under any circumstances, under any conditions. Pray for me. I'm every day I have real, legitimate concern for my safety. And got any questions for me, Brian? I'll try to. It's just hard.
Are your hoodies still on sale, and can people still get the trifold and the cop cards?
Yeah, listen, my team is still working. I still have the hoodies, I still have the cop cards, I still have the trifolds. Please, go by the website and pick up a trifold, a cop card. Everybody should have those cop cards. You guys saw, you have to plead the Fifth Amendment. You absolutely have got to have it. And use the card and use your phone. If you get pulled over, you pull the trifold down from your visor, and you use the trifold, you invoke your Fifth Amendment right. You don't say anything. We saw what me talking in court did for me by not using my Fifth Amendment right, just to remain silent and let my lawyer talk, even if he didn't do that great of a job. I believe if I had remained silent, I wouldn't have triggered Ann Zimmerman, and she wouldn't have thrown me in the dungeon. You got to use your trifold. You got to use your cop card. This is the last batch of hoodies for this year. I'm not free. I can't run downtown LA and pick up another batch of hoodies and get them printed. This is the last batch of hoodies. So no matter what size you get it and put it on the wall, because you know why? I may not make it out of here alive. I don't know if I will.
Hey, Chille, you know what's interesting? Even your enemies admit that if you didn't act the way you did, then Ann Zimmerman wouldn't have thrown the book at you, which, in my opinion, they're unwittingly admitting that the justice system is completely unjust and you actually went to jail for exercising free speech.
Oh, yeah. I'm with you all the way, and look, I don't respect Judge Zimmerman's decision here. I have made a promise to remain respectful and to show deference to the court, so I'm just expressing my opinion. I don't think Ann Zimmerman did it right. I think that she did it wrong. And there's no way to hold her accountable. There's nothing I can do other than stating my opinion and my perspective in the media. That's all I can do. I only hope and pray that if you do believe judges text each other and they call each other, I hope and pray that the Honorable Judge Leavitt is not communicating with Ann Zimmerman, and I hope that they have not formed any kind of, anything against me. I hope that I can get a fair and impartial appeal, and I think if I do get a fair and impartial appeal, that I will be let out of this jail on July 11th. And that's what I believe, and today's April 11th, so that's 90 days, 89 days. I think it's 89 days, Brian. Let me know the day count, will you, when we talk again? Let me know the exact day count, because I'm gonna do those little, the little stacks of 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 across, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 across. So I'm gonna do one of those. But make no mistake about it, people. My life is in jeopardy every second of every day. This is not a safe place. This is one of the most dangerous places in the world. You guys can read about it. The Clark County Detention Center is listed as one of the most difficult jails in America. And dangerous. As far as the guards and the COs are concerned, and the people who work here, I am being the utmost respectful and a model inmate, because I am incarcerated. So I'm an incarcerated person, and I've written a long chapter about incarceration versus segregation. And I believe that when I get out of here and I get into leadership in government, I'm going to change incarceration to segregation. Is what I'm going to do. And that's my plan, and I'm writing in the book, so you guys can read about it yourselves. I wrote in-depth detail about what segregation means versus incarceration. This isn't healthy. I've also got a tooth problem, and I've requested to see a dentist. You guys know I just had oral surgery, and now I'm having a tooth problem, and you can't get dental floss in here. I don't know why you can't get dental floss on the little tiny plastic stick that has that little one inch piece of dental floss strung between two pieces of plastic. I believe that previously you couldn't get dental floss in jail because you had a big string of dental floss, and then people who do bad things would do bad things with a string of dental floss. But the new way that you do dental floss is that tiny little half-inch strip on a hard plastic stick. Why can't the jail distribute those? Because without flossing, I haven't flossed in 3.5 weeks. I would really like to floss my teeth. That would be absolutely amazing. I just put in what's called a request or a kite to see a dentist, because I'm having a problem in my upper right teeth where I had oral surgery. So I'm going to call my attorney after we hang up here, and I'm going to tell him I need to get some dental floss. I only got about 45 seconds left. I want to say thank you to Brian. Him taking these calls and doing live streams on my channel. I'm in the greatest debt to this man, and to my friends Jay, my friend M, to my friend D, to my friend Jay, my friends who have stepped up for me and are running my business, the trifold and cop card business and hoodie business. Thank you so much, and I'm so grateful to you guys who have helped me, and thank you to Team DLZ. You know, continue to watch my videos, share my videos, please. I don't want my social media to die. I want to be
Thank you for using Securus. Goodbye.